Oh, that was a very, very, very painful, dramatic, but surreal moment, you know?
Right.
Touching the soil of Jamaica after so many tribulation and seeing the masses crowding at the airport. My enemies try to destroy me because you don't know who I am, but trust me, they know. And they dwell on a thing called credibility. And if you destroy the credibility, it's easier for you to destroy the man. Any man.
Right.
So yes, they thought they put me away, but what they did was raise me up.
At 51, Buju Banton finally admits the homophobic song he recorded at 15 made him a target for authorities who spent years waiting for their chance.
I know that my career was deliberately, you know. Even to this day, I suffer the same fate. 20 years later almost, you know, and the fight and the same struggle still ensue because they want I to apologize, and I said, no, I don't apologize.
A DEA informant pursued him for 5 months with $50,000 on the line until December 2009, when he was caught tasting cocaine on camera, sealing 7 years in federal prison.
Federal U.S. authorities say Buju attempted to buy cocaine from an undercover officer in Florida. He faces a charge of conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute more than 5 kilograms of cocaine.
This is the biggest secret that they used to destroy his credibility. Mark Anthony Meary was born July 15, 1973, in Kingston, Jamaica. His mother gave him the nickname Buju, a maroon word meaning breadfruit used for chubby children. He grew up in Salt Lane, where police brutality and gang warfare were daily realities for young men. Music offered escape and identity in a neighborhood where survival required being firm about that life. By his teens, Buju was DJing on Kingston sound systems, jumping on trucks Friday night and not returning home until Monday morning. He warmed up crowds for bigger names, learning his craft through Rambo International and Sweet Love sound systems. His role was getting dances hyped before stars like Flower Gone performed. The gruff voice and street lyrics were authentic because he lived the struggle he sang about.
And I was walking to the shop. And there was a mango tree on the car park. And from afar, I spot this mango. It was so red. I kept looking at it. And the spirit came to me and said, climb this tree, sit in it, eat this mango.
One day in 1986, 16-year-old Buju was walking to the shop for his stepmother when he spotted a red mango in a tree on the car park. The spirit spoke to him clearly. Climb the tree, sit in it, eat the mango, don't come out until you're finished. He put the bag in his pocket and climbed up. While eating that mango, something miraculous happened. A car pulled up directly under the tree. The door opened, and a voice called out asking if he knew Clement Erie. Buju looked down to see dancehall superstar Shabba Ranks, one of Jamaica's biggest artists at that moment. Shabba told him to come down from the tree. It wasn't until 3 days later that Buju realized his legs were covered in cuts and bruises from climbing, but he hadn't felt any pain in the moment.
So I sat in a car now with the driver, Shabba Ranks up front, Clement Erie there, and I was over here. But before I went into the car, he pulled a bottle of honey and he walked over to me and he said, hold this. And I was holding the cork. And he poured the honey into the cork.
Shabba and Clement Erie were heading to a dance and decided to bring young Buju along. Before getting in the car, Clement Erie did something that showed Buju this wasn't just entertainment. It was spiritual. Clement pulled out a bottle of honey, poured it into his spliff, put his finger in it, rubbed it around the joint, and started smoking. When Buju asked why, Clement said it was to keep the vibe smooth. That mango tree moment changed everything. Being called down by Shabba Ranks wasn't random luck. It was divine intervention connecting him to dancehall royalty who could open doors. The internet went crazy saying that's when Mark Meary became Buju Banton, destined for greatness. Shabba had the biggest songs in Jamaica, and his recognition gave teenage Buju instant credibility in Kingston's competitive music scene.
One was Major Worries. To me, Major Worries was a teacher of all of us. He was so advanced in his disposition and his lyrical delivery. And so, ironically, Little Twitch was a protege of Major Worries. Admiral Bailey was a protege of Major Worries.
Buju's real education came from studying the masters who came before him. Major Worries was the teacher of all dancehall artists, advanced in lyrical delivery and flow. Little Twitch, Admiral Bailey, and Shabba Ranks were all students of Major Worries. Buju became part of that lineage, learning from Major Worries' style and understanding that in Jamaica, you had to be about that life to do this music. You couldn't fake being a rude boy in Kingston dance hall. Buju's experience with police brutality, gang warfare, and hustling gave him authentic perspective. He lived what he wrote. People saw his experience wasn't manufactured. He was real street youth from Salt Lane who understood struggle and could articulate it through music in ways that resonated with other sufferers across Jamaica.
Because our experience was basically police brutality, gang warfare, you know what I mean? People trying to kill you, trying to defend yourself against that. People trying to hustle, people trying to make it. So we deal with struggles with life. So
in 1988, 15-year-old Buju Banton walked into Blue Mountain Studios and recorded Boom Bye Bye. The song contained violent homophobic lyrics in Jamaican patois, calling for gay men to be shot and burned. Buju later claimed he wrote it about a pedophile who molested boys in his neighborhood, but the lyrics were explicit about targeting homosexuals. The song circulated on Jamaican sound systems without major controversy at first. Homophobia was deeply embedded in Jamaican dancehall culture, where masculinity and heterosexuality were constantly reinforced. Many artists recorded similar songs. It was considered normal content for that era of hardcore dancehall. Nobody imagined a teenager's song would explode into international controversy 4 years later when it was re-released without his authorization in 1992.
So when the ranking Carlisle from the Tree, that was a turning point in my life to show her that I am truly a servant who come to serve the masses.
By 1992, Buju had signed with Penthouse Records and was having his breakthrough year. He broke Bob Marley's record for most #1 singles in Jamaica in a single year. His debut album, Mr. Mention, became the best-selling album in Jamaican history. Buju's gruff voice dominated airwaves across the island. He understood his calling was to serve the masses through music, which made what happened next even more devastating. The unauthorized re-release of Boom Bye Bye coincided with his international breakthrough. LGBTQ rights groups in the United States, United Kingdom, and Canada organized protests wherever he performed. Venues canceled concerts. Universities refused to book him. Gay rights activists labeled it murder music, promoting deadly violence. The song he recorded at 15 as Angry Ghetto Youth now threatened to destroy everything he was building.
So I see myself as the last of the Mohicans.
Right.
In the reggae music sphere, who come with that old school knowledge, who knows that this music must feed my people, educate them, uplift them, eradicate negativity from their minds.
Buju saw himself as carrying on reggae music's original purpose: to feed people, educate them, uplift them, and eradicate negativity from their minds while allowing them to dance. But Boom Bye Bye contradicted that mission entirely. It spread negativity and promoted violence. The controversy followed him across every border, making international touring increasingly difficult as protests intensified. In 2004, Buju was charged with gay bashing in Jamaica after allegedly participating in an attack on gay men. Charges were dropped when victims refused to testify, fearing for their lives. The incident reinforced that Buju's homophobia wasn't just lyrics. Many believed he acted on the violence he promoted. By 2007, the Stop Murder Music campaign pressured him and other dancehall artists to sign the Reggae Compassionate Act, pledging to stop performing homophobic songs.
We are fortunate enough to be on an island where we can extricate ourselves from these circumstances, yet cultivate an identity of our own and a spiritual awareness of our own and a firmness to take us through this struggle.
Buju stopped performing Boom Bye Bye publicly and claimed he had matured beyond the angry teenager who recorded it. But lots of fans think he never truly understood why the song was harmful. Videos surfaced of him performing it after signing the pledge, suggesting damage control rather than genuine change. The internet went crazy saying Boom Bye Bye made him a permanent target for authorities across multiple countries who documented his homophobic lyrics and the protests following him everywhere. In March 2019, after prison, Buju officially removed Boom Bye Bye from his catalog and pulled it from streaming platforms. He issued a statement recognizing the song caused pain and affirming everyone's right to live as they choose. But by then, the damage was permanent. Boom Bye Bye defined his international reputation forever, overshadowing decades of other work and creating a file authorities could reference whenever convenient.
Music is here to teach us one lesson. If music is the only thing that shall never die, ask yourself, why do you get tired of some music in 2 months? Something is wrong.
After Boom Bye Bye exploded internationally, Buju's music underwent dramatic transformation. His 1995 album, Till Shiloh, moved away from hardcore dancehall toward roots reggae influenced by deepening Rastafarian faith. The title referenced Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, whom Rastafarians revere as divine. Songs like Untold Stories showcased vulnerability missing from earlier work, singing about poverty and struggle rather than violence and sex. The transformation wasn't universally accepted. Hardcore dancehall fans felt betrayed, missing the raw street energy of Batty Rider and Champion. Some accused him of using conscious reggae as marketing strategy to escape Boom Bye Bye backlash, rather than genuine spiritual awakening. The criticism stung, but Buju maintained his evolution was authentic as he grew dreadlocks and immersed himself in Rastafarian teachings.
Our profession was divinely given to us. It is written in the basic instruction before leaving earth that you all call the Bible, that a singer and a player of instruments shall go before the Lord's coming. So what shall we go and do? We shall proclaim his coming forward.
Buju believed his profession as singer was divinely given, written in the Bible that singers and players of instruments shall go before the Lord's coming. Their role was proclaiming his coming and bringing people together. Music became his ministry to spread messages about Black consciousness, spirituality, and social justice. If artists weren't fulfilling that divine purpose, Buju believed they would be thrown into the fire heap. His 1997 album, Inna Heights, continued exploring Rastafarian themes, with songs about Mount Zion, biblical prophecy, and African redemption. He worked with legendary producers who understood roots reggae tradition. Buju collaborated with roots veterans who welcomed him into the legacy Bob Marley and Peter Tosh established. He saw himself as heir to that tradition, using music to feed, educate, and uplift people.
I mean, Buster a real youth.
Yeah.
The Buster I know, a real youth, real bad man.
Yeah. And I heard that y'all kept going back in the sessions.
Yeah, because we have to get it right.
His collaborations expanded beyond Jamaica to artists like Busta Rhymes, who was Jamaican-American and loved dancehall. They recorded multiple sessions in Busta's mother's basement in Long Island, working until they got it right. No matter what time they finished, Busta made sure Buju got back to the hood. The mutual respect came from both understanding music as representation of their communities and cultures authentically. Buju maintained that reggae was time marker helping people remember important life moments. First dates, marriages, births, struggles, victories. That's why reggae remained relevant across generations while other genres faded. The music was divinely given to Jamaicans to express struggles and praise. creating permanent emotional connections that transcended any single moment or controversy.
In those days, I used to DJ on sound systems, yeah? And I used to jump on the sound system truck like Friday, and I wouldn't come back home until Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, I would DJ Friday night, Saturday night, and I'd come back home Sunday or Monday morning, yeah?
All right.
Summer 2009, Buju Banton sat in first class flying from Madrid to Miami after his European tour. Next to him sat Alex Johnson, a Colombian drug dealer turned DEA confidential informant. Johnson had been arrested in 1994, bringing hundreds of kilograms of cocaine into America, but became a paid informant instead of going to prison, using hidden cameras and recorders to build cases, earning him $50,000 commissions. Johnson struck up conversation about music, Jamaica, and life on the road. According to Buju's later testimony, Johnson steered talk toward drug dealing. Buju, trying to impress someone he thought was a big player, boasted about connections to Jamaican drug kingpins. He claimed he could broker cocaine deals and facilitate international trafficking. It was empty talk from an entertainer trying to seem street, but Johnson was recording everything.
They dwell on a thing called credibility, and if you destroy the credibility, it's easier for you to destroy the man. Any man.
All right.
Once you destroy any man's credibility, it's always easier for you to go at them. But
Johnson obtained Buju's phone number written on a napkin during the flight. For 5 months, he pursued Buju relentlessly with calls trying to set up meetings. He pushed Buju to see his sailboat in Sarasota, calling it an important step. Buju avoided him repeatedly, canceling or declining for months. Defense attorneys later showed the jury that Buju refused Johnson's advances for 5 months straight, despite constant pressure. Prosecutors presented recorded phone calls where Buju made unsubstantiated claims about brokering deals. But he never put money in, never possessed drugs, never stood to benefit financially. Attorney David Marcus argued Buju was a big talker trying to impress the informant, but wasn't involved in actual drug trafficking. DEA investigated his boasts about Jamaican cartel connections and found no evidence any of it was true.
you know, that place has taught me one particular thing, that when someone does something to you that is designed to hurt you, and you know in your heart they're wrong, you don't fight with them, because no one on earth will ever believe you. It's only God can prove your innocency.
December 4th, 2009, Johnson called saying he flew to Florida specifically to see Buju. He begged him to drive 2 hours to Sarasota and finally see his sailboat. "Make an effort," Johnson said in the recorded call. "It'll all be worth it." After 5 months of persistent pressure, Buju finally agreed to meet December 8th. He arrived at the Sarasota warehouse with 2 associates, Ian Thomas and James Mack. Johnson and an undercover officer, posing as drug dealer, showed them bricks of cocaine. In the video that later convicted him, Buju tasted the cocaine. He later called it the worst mistake of his life, saying he didn't know why he did it and would rewind time if possible. After tasting, Thomas called a Georgia contact interested in buying. Buju chimed in. Find out how much he wants. He told them to trust each other moving forward, then left for home in Tamarack.
You can stay on that trajectory and stay this bit, or you can forgive them and live your life. The greatest weapon we have against all our adversaries are forgiveness.
Buju wasn't present when Thomas and Mack returned to the warehouse December 10th with $135,000 to buy 5 kilograms of cocaine. Police swarmed when the deal went down. Thomas and Mack were arrested on the spot and later pleaded guilty. 2 hours away in Tamarack, police arrested Buju at home. He was charged with conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute cocaine, using phones for drug trafficking, and firearm possession in furtherance of drug trafficking. The gun charge came because his associates had weapons, though prosecutors never proved Buju knew about or possessed firearms. The internet went crazy, saying Buju was entrapped by DEA, specifically targeting him over Boom Bye Bye controversy. Lots of fans think the drug charges were cover for silencing an artist whose homophobic lyrics embarrassed the US government when he toured internationally.
The ability to forgive enables us to continue our life on the path that the Father wants us to continue on. The ability to project ourselves outside of the bad circumstances into good light is what we have. We're in control of that.
Buju's first trial in September 2010 ended in mistrial because jurors couldn't reach unanimous verdict. While awaiting retrial, he was released on bail. Stephen Marley, Bob Marley's son, put up his home as collateral for bond. The Marley family's support demonstrated reggae community's belief in Buju's innocence and suspicion he was being unfairly prosecuted for who he was rather than what he actually did. The second trial in February 2011 hinged on video and audio recordings by informant Alex Johnson, who made $50,000 commission after the bust. The warehouse video showing Buju tasting cocaine was particularly damaging. Prosecutors argued he portrayed himself as drug deal broker. Defense countered he was simply a big talker trying to impress someone, but wasn't involved in any actual dealing.
That was a very, very, very painful, traumatic, but surreal moment, you know?
Right.
Touching the soil of Jamaica after so many tribulation and seeing the masses crowding at the airport, you know?
After 11 hours of deliberation over 2 days, the jury found Buju guilty of conspiracy to possess cocaine, using phones for drug trafficking and firearm possession. He was acquitted of attempted possession with intent to distribute. The tall dreadlock singer didn't react when verdicts were read. He stood, hugged his attorneys, turned and blew kisses to supporters in the courtroom filled with other reggae artists. June 23, 2011, Judge James Moody sentenced Buju to 10 years in federal prison, the minimum allowed by guidelines. The court later threw out the gun conviction after accepting Buju didn't carry weapons and didn't know his associates were armed, reducing what could have been longer time. Buju worked out 3 times daily in prison, running around the yard and chapel, staying physically and mentally strong through routine and discipline. Buju served time in various U.S. federal facilities, including transfers from Florida to Texas. Though sentenced to 10 years, he was released December 7, 2018, after serving roughly 7. Upon release, he was immediately deported to Jamaica. Thousands of fans rushed Norman Manley International Airport to welcome him home, breaking through security barriers to reach him in what became one of the most emotional moments in Jamaican music history. The airport scene was chaotic and overwhelming. Buju expected modest greeting, but found himself surrounded by massive crowds pulling at him, hugging him, crying and celebrating his return. It was painful and dramatic, but surreal, touching Jamaican soil after so much tribulation while seeing the masses gathered. He wanted space to process everything, but didn't want anyone feeling he didn't appreciate their effort in giving him such warm welcome.
Thinking about it, we all know that my career was deliberately derailed, Even to this day, I suffer the same fate. 20 years later almost, and the fight and the same struggle still ensue because they want I to apologize, and I said, no, I don't apologize.
Prison taught Buju that forgiveness was his greatest weapon against adversaries. They couldn't understand why he wasn't hungry for revenge, why he wasn't bitter, why he didn't carry an axe to grind. That confusion drove them mad. They expected him broken and angry. Instead, he emerged at peace, muscular, focused. The ability to forgive enabled him to continue his life on the path his father wanted rather than the monster they hoped to create. March 16, 2019, Buju performed his comeback concert, Long Walk to Freedom, at Jamaica's National Stadium. The show sold out with 35,000 fans in attendance, the first time many Jamaicans had seen him perform in over a decade. He came out looking diesel after years of prison workouts. The performance was electric, with crowds singing every word to songs spanning his entire career from hardcore dancehall to conscious roots reggae. Summer 2024, Buju made history selling out 2 shows at New York City's UBS Arena with combined attendance of 36,000 people. He became the first reggae artist ever to accomplish that feat by himself in the United States. The New York triumph proved 7 years in prison couldn't diminish his connection with fans or his status as one of reggae's greatest performers. People who researched his catalog for days couldn't stop listening because the music transcended any controversy or legal troubles. Most people in Buju's position would have gotten broken down. That was the intent and aim of the enemy. But the only way to circumvent that was forgiveness. Where Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, not because they know what they did." Buju forgave them because they don't know what they did. Actually, they knew what they did. So Buju let them deal with that while he did his work. Anyway, that's it for the video, folks. Bye.